Oh my goodness. We're starting so much earlier than I said we would. How crazy is that? How bananas is all of that? I really hope you guys can hear me. Otherwise, it's going to sound weird. It's going to sound like I'm talking to myself. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Man, what a weekend. Oh God, what a weekend. As those of you guys who follow me on Twitter know, it was an adventure. This weekend was, man, this weekend was a sight to behold. There were, I had great moments, and I had less than stellar moments. I had moments where I was just kind of like, wish I hadn't done that. But yeah, it was, God, it was a much needed vacation. It that needed to happen. That break really needed to happen. I I needed to chill. I needed to get away from like everything that was going on and just take a break, for a few minutes. Just take some time to relax and to hang out. So first things first, we're at 300,000 subscribers, and that is crazy. It's crazy. You got 10 crazy minutes. Any of you guys who remember, what was it, Crazy Taxi? Crazy Taxi. That was an amazing game. But yes. Oh no, they didn't have forks. Oh my God. Okay. So let's talk about medieval times. So medieval times was amazing. Like it was it was so fun. So we get there, like me, Benny, Drake, and Kate. Kate's like the nicest person ever. She's so cool. Like we hit up a hookah while we were over there. Like she had like the little like tobacco things, the little hookah things, and that was really fun to hit because I haven't like hit a hookah for a long time, and so. I feel like I need to get a hookah. Like that would be fun. But anyway, so we got to which by the way, Drake's apartment's like really nice. Like it's like this super nice apartment. But we got to medieval times. So, you guys saw like a bunch of the stuff in terms of Dumbledore, Dusseldorf. Yes, I watched that video, not my proudest moment. But anyway, we get inside. And of course I showed you guys, live stream on whatever that program is. I don't remember what it's called anymore, but Periscope. Periscoped the whole opening ceremony, which was really cool. And we had the black and white knight. Our knight won, and that guy looked like Patrick Dempsey. Like I remember that much. He looked exactly like Patrick Dempsey. But our knight won, and we were like, yes, we were so psyched. He was a really cool guy. But they didn't have any forks. Like we got soup. And so we had to like drink the soup, which was really cool. And then we got chicken, like a chicken wing or chicken leg. And we got to, like, I had to eat the whole leg and thigh and everything by hand. And it was the same thing with the bread. See, I thought they were going to serve us stuff like mashed potatoes. We'd have to like dig our hands in there and like eat mashed potatoes with no spoons. I was like, God, this would be a nightmare. Like if they had kids, like if kids showed up, to this thing, it'd be absolute pandemonium. But medieval times was so fun. Like it was so cool. I understand why they only have a handful of them, because I kept thinking, what if we had one here in Lexington? Well, how often would people go? I mean, it's like a movie theater. Like they only have like a few showings a day and different things like that. But nonetheless, it was really cool. It was really fun to be part of that whole thing. I mean, me and Benny and Drake and Kate, like we were having a good old time, and it was much needed. So one of the things you guys ask me is Rob, what's the most valuable comic book you have? And this one right here. This is the most valuable comic book that I have. This is the original, or I guess this is the origin story of Doctor Doom. This is Fantastic Four Annual number 2. It gives us the original Stan Lee and Jack Kirby origin story to Doctor Doom himself, which we went over in my Doctor Doom video. But that, up until this weekend, was the most valuable comic book that I owned. The most valuable comic book that I own now is this comic book. This is, of course, A-Force number 1, nothing too spectacular, but it's got signatures from everybody who came out to the fan meetup. And that was so cool. Oh my God. For those of you guys, fan meetup, those of you all who made it, it was unbelievable to have so many people there and to talk to you all and to hang out with you all and to just like nerd out. It was fun. So this right here right now is the most valuable comic book that I own. This is I will never get rid of this for as long as I live. I will keep this forever. I mean, this. I might even get like a comic book frame and just like frame this thing. But this is all the signatures from everybody who showed up at the meet and greet. And so for all of you who made it, thank you so much. Thank you for coming out. Like I told you guys, when we were there. Being a YouTuber and stuff, it gets crazy and life is hectic and busy all the time and making videos all the time and so on and so forth. And because it usually takes me conservatively anywhere between 6, 7, maybe 8 hours to make a quick video, like a top 5 video. That's not going into, all the other videos. It takes many days to make videos. So it takes us a long time to create like topics for you guys, or I guess to create videos for you guys. And so when we get on Twitter and we say, hey guys, we're going to be in like Texas, in Arlington, Texas, on like a random day, on a Wednesday or something like that, or a Tuesday, come hang out with us, and you guys show up, it's unbelievable. So it's really humbling, to see so many people who were like, your content's amazing, it's cool. So having said that, one of the other questions that I get a lot is you guys ask stuff like, Rob, what are you working on? Like, what's your next video going to be? What are you working on right now? What's your video? What is it? How's it all going to come together? What are you going to be doing? Well, I thought about that. I was thinking about that this weekend. And Age of Apocalypse will probably wrap up this week, if not on like Monday. So the question is, what do we do next? What do we talk about next? And so when we were at Drake's comic book store, we went through like a whole bunch of comics and stuff, and I got 3 trades that I want to work on, that I want to do videos on. The first one is this one, as long as I don't knock them down. Future Imperfect. All right. Future Imperfect is a great story. This is a Incredible Hulk story. This, if those of you guys who are reading Secret Wars are curious, I think I hit my headphones. This is the Maestro. This is the origin story of how the Maestro came into existence. This is where the Maestro came from. This is why that character matters. So for those of you all who are reading Secret Wars right now, and you're like, I don't understand the deal with the Maestro. What the hell's up with the Maestro? Why is it such a big deal? We will go over that. Like, if you guys are reading, what is it? It's not Planet Hulk, I don't think. But anyway, the one that has the Maestro and everything in it, if you guys are reading that right now, and you guys are wondering, like, what's this dystopian future? What's all that stuff? Like, that's what this is. That's where all this comes from. I mean, I could take you guys through it. I mean, like, there's the Maestro right there. Like, that's what the Maestro looks like. So, it's really, really cool. So, that's one that we'll do. The next one, continuing on, is going to be one of my favorites, and it's actually going to take a little while to do this one, but this one is Jeff Loeb's Red Hulk. So, yes, we're going to do the Red Hulk. I love the Red Hulk story. This is probably one of the coolest stories ever, although it took forever for Jeff Loeb to do, but yeah, it took quite a while. So, the last one is this one, World War Hulk. World War Hulk's been a long time coming. Like, we've really been needing to do World War Hulk for quite some time. So we are going to do that story. Of course, we're going to have to preface it by doing Planet Hulk. So we'll do the Planet Hulk story. But yeah, some of Greg Pak's best work came in World War Hulk. So I'm really, really psyched to bring that to you guys. After that, it's kind of shooting for the moon. I think what we'll also do is we'll do the point, which I guess the point where Wolverine lost his adamantium, when he had his adamantium torn out of his body by Magneto, the whole Fatal Attractions story. That I think is going to be a really cool one to do. So, yeah, I guess, the whole, question, we'll decide what I'm giving away at the end of the live stream, but, I guess, yeah, so you guys have been asking a few questions, so far. Let's see, the comic that I tried to explain last night. No, I didn't have any, like, domestic Texas beers. I didn't have any of that. I kind of wish I had, but I mean, I had enough alcohol as it was. I didn't need any more. I mean, no. The way everything popped off, it was kind of nuts. What's going on, Brent? But oh yeah, that's the other thing too. I wanted to let you guys know. There's going to be some changes, like from what you guys see behind me. I'm probably going to switch my desk around, which means you're going to see like the whole rest of my apartment, which is like my bed. I live in a studio, so it's really nothing to look at. But yeah, you guys will see that. So I feel like I need to have my desk against the wall. I don't like being stuck against the wall like this. It feels weird. It feels like it's more condensed. Like I could open my apartment up by switching everything around. So Pick you. Pick me, please. And I don't think Jeff Loeb ruined everything with the Ultimate Universe. He did some stuff that wasn't that great, but I don't think he ruined anything. All right, so what's your opinion of Spider-Girl? Well, which one are we talking about? Are we talking about like Jessica Drew? Are we talking about like Spider-Gwen? Are we like who in particular are we talking about? Because I think that it's man, the Spider-Girl characters I never really latched onto them. As you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of Spider-Man in general, so I never really got into Spider-Man per se. Spider-Man's not the worst. It's just I never found Spider-Man to be particularly interesting, and so with Spider-Girl, it just kind of seemed like a continuation of the same old thing, and eventually I just kind of ran away from it, so to speak. I'm not really kicking and screaming, but certainly not like, oh my god, it's pandemonium. So anyway, I'm the best. I don't know if I'm the best, but let's see. What is your opinion of the Ultimate Universe? We'll actually do the Ultimate Universe. Like we'll talk about the Ultimate Universe. Like that is something that we will get into because the Ultimate Universe needs to be. Man, it needs to be discussed. The Ultimate Universe is so important for Marvel Comics. I mean, for a lot of fans and things like that. We actually talked about that, when we had the fan meetup. I was like, the whole basis of the Ultimate Universe was that it was designed in a way to where it was basically like, introducing new fans to comic books. The Ultimate Universe was a modern take on WoW. Ewan, I guess is how you pronounce it. I'm not really sure, but hey, what's up from Ireland? But yeah, like the Ultimate Universe is a way for Marvel to take like a lot of older characters and to give them like a reboot more or less, or to like introduce them in terms of like modern times. I actually have Arkham Knight on my other monitor right now. Like I'm not well, I was playing a little bit, but I'm not playing it right now. But I love it. Like it's awesome. Arkham Knight's pretty freaking amazing. But no, the Ultimate Universe was a huge deal, when it first came out, and a lot of people liked it, and I think actually a couple people at the meetup were like, that's what got me into comics was the Ultimate Universe. Like that's how I got added into it, and so it was a very important element, and that's why we got into things, or that's why we ran into things like Miles Morales. Miles Morales was a very big deal. With Miles Morales, it was a character who was given to us in a way to where it reflected modern day, rather than just having, in truth, some white kid from the suburbs, I guess from the city, now we had this African-American kid from the inner city showing us what the struggles were of inner city life. And so Miles Morales hit for a lot of different Marvel Comics fans, and that's why even now, with Marvel Comics, with, the Spider-Man reboots, or I guess the Secret Wars and everything, that a lot of traditional Spider-Man fans that love Peter Parker say Miles Morales is a great character, because when you look at him beyond the Spider character, that's where he really shines. And I think that's why, people love Miles so much. So, from Greece, wow, that's crazy. You guys watching from all over the world. So from New Jersey, wow. Anyway, you like the Ultimate Universe before it got blown up? Ruben Rodriguez, the first time you're making a live chat. Well, welcome to a live chat. It usually takes like a little while for people to start trickling in, and plus, I kind of started this in the middle of like rush hour, on the East Coast, so people are like heading home, stuff like that, and so on and so forth. But not a terrible thing. So Thanos versus Loki, who would win? I think they've actually fought before, and I'm pretty sure Loki would win against Thanos, unless you're talking about like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in which case we know Thanos would win because Loki was made to work for Thanos. So, how powerful is the Hulk? I read that World War Hulk, and wow, was that amazing. Well, all right. So Gustavo asked that question. The show started a few minutes ago. The Hulk that you saw in World War Hulk was about as powerful as the Hulk's ever been. There's never been a story where the Hulk has been more angry than at that point in time. Oh my God, it's that Vanilla song, Sweet Talk. Yes, I love that song. It's such a good song. I'm listening to this compilation, this hip hop compilation again, and it's so catchy. It's just so catchy. But No, that was about as angry as the Hulk was ever going to get, and that's why World War Hulk was a big deal because he was so pissed off, and fans loved it. Fans loved to see the Hulk in such an enraged state, just like ripping stuff up. It was crazy, but it was really really cool too. At the same time. So, you're watching on your iPhone when you drive home. Well, don't get hurt. Don't do anything that'll get you in trouble. Watching from Mexico, what do you think about Marvel Avengers Phase 3? Yeah, post up where you guys are watching from. Like where are you guys? Like, what country are you guys in? That you're watching this. I'm curious to see where everybody's at. I have a feeling a lot of people are from the States, but I'm kind of curious where everybody's from. So, um, let's see. From Panama. Wow. Um, let's see. I forgot what the last question was. Ask your question again. I forgot what your question was. Rob, are there any major characters whose stories are based in smaller cities and towns? Most characters seem to be in major metro areas. That's par for the course, actually. I mean, Fantastic Four based out of Manhattan, Spider-Man's based out of Manhattan, Frank Castle, Daredevil, they're all in Hell's Kitchen, New York, Manhattan. A lot of them are just based out of big cities. Most of them are like in those areas in big cities. Um, the X-Men are based out of Westchester. So, I mean, I've never been there, and I never really looked into it. I don't know how big of a city that is. But, oh, wow, so many people. North Carolina, the Czech Republic, holy cow. England, Texas, Nebraska, Ireland, South Korea, wow. That's crazy. Australia, jeez. Kansas, watching from New York. Um, am I going to stream Arkham Knight? I'll probably stream Arkham Knight. I'll probably stream it on Twitch at some point tonight. I'll tweet it out, if I decide to, or I might just upload a video saying, "Hey, I'm live streaming." But I've got a whole bunch of stuff to do. I might stream it tomorrow, to be honest. That might be the best time to do it because right now it's Thursday. A lot of people are still kind of working and so on, and they got to go into work tomorrow. And so I figure, with it being Friday night, a lot of people will probably watch it. So I think we'll stream it on Friday. Uh, Oh, you can hear from the Bluetooth in your car. That's awesome. So anyway, no, there really aren't a whole lot of superhero teams or characters based out of small towns, and if they are, they're just not very well known. That's one of the downsides. That's one of the reasons why they have characters in huge cities. I mean, it's like it's like networking. Here in real life, all the people who are networking, the big YouTubers and stuff like that. They all live in Los Angeles because they can network with each other. They can work with each other, things like that. Unless you're PewDiePie, and he lives in England, I think. Unless you're like Syndicate, I think Syndicate lives in England too. But nonetheless, like Markiplier, I think lives in Los Angeles, and like a lot of the major YouTubers live in LA. Especially the YouTubers that make their videos or make their living off like vlogging and stuff like that. They live in LA because they can network with each other. When you have comic book characters, it behooves Marvel to have the most prominent characters in or around New York because it means that they can operate within New York. They can meet with each other in New York. It wouldn't seem reasonable for you to have a character that's based in like Omaha, Nebraska, and then he's like just showing up in New York all the time. It wouldn't make any sense. And so my Twitch is Marvel Explained. So it would make a whole lot of sense to do this. And so, that's why they have a lot of superheroes, in big towns. So again, that's just kind of the way that they do it. It seems to make the most sense. So, um, let's see. I can use some superheroes so they can help with all this traffic. Batman or Batwoman or Huntress? I'd say Batwoman. I mean, I would take Batwoman almost any of the female characters aside from demigods in DC because you're talking about Barbara Gordon being trained with Batman, or I guess with Bruce Wayne being I guess fighting alongside the rest of the Bat family. So you got Tim Drake, you got Damian Wayne for as short of a time as it was. You got Dick Grayson. You got all those characters. It makes the most sense to me that she would be the most solid character. I mean, she's not the most formidable Bat character. I mean, by no means do I think she's on the same level as like Tim Drake or Dick Grayson or Jason Todd even, but she's still pretty solid. And so, is the first Punisher film good? I think so. Yeah, I think the first Punisher movie was good enough, but it wasn't by any means a stellar one. It wasn't by any means a an incredible movie. It wasn't as though I sat back and said, "This is what a Punisher film should be." It was like, I mean, it's a Punisher film. It's cool. So take it for what it's worth. It's like any film that's based on a Marvel character that's not made by Marvel. It's really just kind of, it's cool. Yes, I love Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight is a great game so far. If you're on the fence about Arkham Knight, I would say get it. I mean, it really is. It's the first Arkham game I've played that I just haven't quit playing within the first, few minutes or so. It's really, really solid. I'm not going to ban Merc with a Mouth. He hasn't done anything to be banned for. I mean, I've been watching him. He's not doing anything. And he's asking good questions. So, but anyway, what's your thought on the upcoming movie Thor Ragnarok? So let's talk about that. Let's talk, I mean, we answered the question, what's Ragnarok? So we know what Ragnarok is. What's the movie going to be? Well, I mean, it'll be a Thor and Loki movie. I have a feeling that, let's see. I have a feeling that the way things are going to expand, or I guess they're going to play out in the whole Thor Ragnarok film is, we're going to effectively see. No, Benny's not better than me at Destiny, not by a long shot. I think that what we're going to see with Thor Ragnarok is we're going to see Loki basically bring Ragnarok. We're going to see Loki cause problems. I mean, we already know that Loki is portraying himself as Odin. And I think that's going to lead directly into Loki eventually destroying Asgard. And Thor is going to try to stop him, and they're all going to die in the process. It seems to make most sense. But that might not happen. It may be that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Ragnarok is not the destruction, the death of everything in Asgard and Asgard itself. It may just be that Ragnarok is just the prophecy of Loki unleashing hell in Ragnarok itself, or I guess in Affleck. I saw the Affleck comment, and I kept thinking Affleck. It'd be Loki raising all kinds of hell in Asgard. I'm not really sure yet. It's kind of up in the air on that. So, I mean, if they say Surtur, it'll be cool. I'll be down if they say Surtur because it'll make sense, and I'll be like, yes, cool. We get to see this evil godlike being killing everybody in Asgard. But no, I don't think we'll see that. So. But again, it's really too early to tell. We got a few years until Ragnarok comes out, so let's see. How long do you think the MCU will last until they start making bad movies? I think so. I think the MCU will go on and on and on until people just stop watching the movies, until people are like, okay, this is getting dumb, because Marvel has a ton of source material to draw off of, to say nothing of the possibility of getting the X-Men characters back, and depending on how they do those X-Men characters. I haven't been using the Batmobile that much in Arkham Knight. In truth, I've just been like running around and just like using the what do you call that thing where you latch onto the thing and whatever that is. I've been using that, so there's no rules. All you have to do is just be here. The Six Flags was really, really cool. Six Flags was fun. I got a cape, which is actually in my gym bag over there, my luggage. But I got a Batman cape and I got a Batman hat, and I definitely want to get those hung up here somewhere. But no, it was cool. It was really, really cool. So possible Nitro Origins video. I mean, there's really no. I mean, I don't know if we do an origin story on Nitro. I mean, it depends on what they do with the movie. I mean, we covered what Nitro did during the Civil War story, and so it didn't really seem like, there we go, grappling. It didn't really seem like it was necessary to do anything more about Nitro. I mean, he fought Captain Marvel for a while. He was one of the biggest enemies of Captain Marvel, and that was about it. But I mean, he wasn't by any means like one of the biggest villains ever in the history of Marvel, not by a long shot. So, let's see. Arkham Knight has suspended sales on PC due to bugs. Wow, that sucks. I mean, I can tell though, because on the Xbox One, I thought it was going to be 60 FPS. This game is like 30 FPS. I'm like, man, really? Come on, guys. Like, you got to make. I mean, this is next gen consoles. You got to do better. You got to give us something better. Texas was amazing. We talked about that earlier. When I first started everything. Texas was pretty awesome. What's my opinion on Convergence? Didn't really dig Convergence. Yeah, I know who the Arkham Knight is. Didn't really dig Convergence. Wasn't really interested in Convergence. It's a lot of the story. It was cool seeing older stories come back, and it was cool seeing why it was that people were so hyped up about older stories, why they thought pre-Flashpoint Superman was so cool and stuff like that. It was cool, kind of reading those things, but for the most part. We'll do a video about Dupe at some point, but for the most part, it wasn't really anything for me to run home about. I wasn't really, absolutely ecstatic. I wasn't really mind blown by it. It was decent. It was all right. But um, anyway, congrats on the 300,000 subscribers. Love the videos. Thank you. Let's see, favorite ride. Oh, from the well, we rode the Justice League Hall of Fame. Like that was, or the Hall of whatever it was, Hall of Justice. That was really fun. That was really cool. It was like one of those 4D or you ride around and shoot stuff kind of things, and it was cool. But it was really more. I mean, Six Flags itself was cool. It was just more being on vacation, hanging at like meeting Drake for the first time, meeting Kate for the first time. Hanging out with Benny again. It was cool. Me and Benny got some bro time. We got some chill out and talk time, and that was really cool. Me and Benny just kind of hanging out and shooting the shit. But no, we got a chance to just hang out and relax, and that's why it was so cool. That's why it was such a great trip, because it was a much needed break for us to just sort of unwind and have a good time, and that's what we did. So let's see. Why is the music in your vids so sad now? I mean, no. Well, the music's designed. The music's designed to match the mood of the videos, and some of the video, like some of the points of the videos get kind of sad. But I mean, we'll have more like when we get into like other videos. The music will be a little more upbeat and so on and so forth. But it's not. I mean, I don't mean for my videos to be depressing if that's what you mean. I mean, they're not supposed to come across as depressing. I hope they're not. Do I think Miles Morales will ever be a part of the MCU? I think so. I think there was enough. I think that when Marvel was basically like, who should we cast for Spider-Man? I think there was enough fan reception saying we want Miles Morales that Marvel couldn't ignore the fact that Miles Morales is wanted by a lot of Marvel comic fans. So I think that we'll see Miles Morales at some point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But no, I mean, I don't think I don't think it'll be anything insane. I think it'll be. I think we'll see it. Hopefully in a couple of years. Hopefully in a few years. Maybe 5-6 years from now. We'll see a Miles Morales character in Phase 4, or Phase 5, or something like that. But we may not. That may never happen. So, hey, hi Rob. Do you think Hugh Jackman coming to the end of his time as Wolverine will spark an X-Men reboot? I always thought Jason Statham would have been a good. Oh yeah, Jason. Okay, look. Here's the deal, guys. We talked about this during the podcast one day. We were asking the question, who should play, or maybe one of you all asked it, but the question was, who should play Wolverine aside from like Hugh Jackman? And my choice was Jason Statham. Jason Statham has that rugged look. Like, I've seen some really bad things and done some really bad things. He can portray that character really, really well. Like in The Transporter, like the guy has a really bad criminal past and he does some really shady stuff, but he's still trying to be a good guy anyway. That's basically Wolverine, and I think he could play that character really well. The question is, could they write Jason Statham in a way where he wouldn't come off hokey? And that's the problem with Jason Statham. Sometimes he gets really, really, really good roles, and he gets really, really, really good lines. And sometimes he doesn't. And sometimes he just comes off sounding hokey. And it's not because he himself is hokey, it's because the lines that are given to him are hokey. And I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen. I hope that he gets more of a solid role. Why do I have e-juice on the bottom of my e-cigarette? That's weird. Yeah, I think there was some juice sitting on the table, but no, I mean, I think that's kind of what we'll see with his character. But again, Jason Statham, I think, is a great choice to play the role of Wolverine. So, answer me this: who do you guys think should play Wolverine in either a Fox film or a Marvel film? Who would you pick to play the character of Wolverine? Because I'm kind of interested to see what you guys say. Steve Buscemi? No, not by a long shot. Rob, what are your top 3 villains of all time? Ooh, that's a good question. Number 1 is Darkseid, right off the bat. Darkseid is a solid character that just keeps coming back. And the cool thing about his origin story is with Darkseid, he's one of the new gods. And so he exists outside of all the universes that exist in the DC universe. And so he can show up at any point. I mean, in any story, at any point in time, Darkseid could just show up. And that's the cool thing about his characters, because you never know if that's actually going to happen or not. Jason Statham can grow hair. It's not like he's bald forever. But no, there's great, there's great stories where you could just inject, Darkseid in. So I would say he's my number 1 guy. Number 2 is Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is a really solid villain. He's very arrogant, but he also has the ability to like back up his talk. Like he can back up his smack talk, and so that I think makes him a solid character, a solid villain. After that, really, it's just kind of a toss-up. I mean, there's some great anti-heroes that are villains, and then they're good guys sometimes. There's some great villains who play good guys from time to time. It really just kind of depends. I think it's contextual. I would say that the third best villain, though, on my list, I guess, um, would probably be Carnage. Just because Carnage is so extreme, because Carnage is so, like, insane. You know, Cletus Cassidy can't be reasoned with. You know, he just loves killing people. He's an absolute madman. And that, I think, makes him really interesting, because the question is, you know, how can Spidey cope with that? How does Spider-Man cope with a villain that can't be reasoned with? I mean, with Eddie Brock and Venom, at least, you know, Spider-Man knows, well, he just hates me. You know, and so I can work with that. You know, I can try to find a way around that. With Carnage, it's just like, let's kill everything. And so Spider-Man's like, well, I mean, how do you reason? How do you reason with a guy that has nothing to lose? That's the question. You know, you can't reason with a guy like that, and so that's what I think makes Carnage such a great character. So the Joker's solid too. I mean, I mean, this is a tough question. It's a tough question, guys. I mean, there's no, you know, guys and gals. There's no easy answer here. I mean, with, you know, top three villains. I mean, you got characters like the Joker. You got, you know, Doomsday. You got, you know, Cyborg. You got the ultimate version of Reed Richards now. I mean, you've got Magneto. You've got some great villains out there. Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister, so on and so forth. You know, you got some really cool villains. You know, you got Vandal Savage. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in the Marvel and DC universe. And so it's hard to pick. You know, the Joker's really cool. The Joker's really solid. And I love the Joker. You know, it's just tough to do. Best comics to start reading as a newbie. Such a vast library to choose from. Yes, I assume you're talking about Marvel Unlimited. Marvel Unlimited is absolutely huge in scope. Here's what I would suggest. Get caught up with the current events. So that means reading New Avengers Volume 3 and Avengers Volume 5, I think. And those issues are pretty lengthy. I mean, you're talking about 40, 50 issues a piece. But, you know, you can probably tear through them pretty fast. Just be aware with the middle of that, with the middle of time runs out, is basically what that is. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to kind of be like, well, this is slow and this is dumb, but you have to read it all in order to understand it all. Otherwise, you're going to pick up as just time runs out, and you're going to be like, well, who's Hyperion? Why is Hyperion here? What is, you know, who is this guy? Who's Marcus Milton? You're not going to know what's going on. And so I'd say read all of Avengers and New Avengers. Jonathan Hickman's run, again, that's New Avengers Volume 3, and that's Avengers Volume 5. After that, you know, you can just jump into Secret Wars, because that's where everything's going now. I mean, the Secret Wars is what you want to read. I mean, there's some great stories out there. I mean, there's still some awesome stories with characters. I mean, if you love the Incredible Hulk, you got all kinds of stories about the Incredible Hulk. If you love Iron Man, you got all kinds of stories about Iron Man. You know, Demon in a Bottle, where Iron Man's trying to get over his alcoholism. You know, you have some really cool stories out there. If you're a DC fan, in truth, Sal might be the better person to ask, or Benny, but from my experience reading DC comics, start with New 52 and just kind of pick your character. You know, it's the cool thing about DC is with them rebooting everything aside from Batman and Green Lantern and New 52. It's really just one of your one of those pick your poison kind of things. You can really just kind of jump in and decide what it is that you enjoy. So, you know, again, and also the current Star Wars run is pretty stellar. I was reading a bunch of the Star Wars comics that Benny had that he brought with him when we got to Dallas, and oh god, X-Men 92 is so cool. I love X-Men 92. It's exactly as awesome as I was hoping it would be. So ooh, that is high. Let's turn that down a bit. Yes, that's Freemax. The Freemax Star. Man, this is a good atomizer. This thing's solid. I actually need to go buy a monitor from Best Buy here in a little bit. I need to get a new monitor. I need to do some shuffling around here, some changing stuff up, put some pictures up, all kinds of stuff I need to do tonight. Probably tomorrow too, but let's see. Rob, what's the best Red Hood story? Under the Red Hood. Definitely, I think, is the best Red Hood story. It gives you the whole rundown about Jason Todd becoming the Red Hood and all that kind of good stuff. It is the quintessential Red Hood story, I think, in my mind. Some people who are more familiar readers of the Red Hood might disagree, but that is a solid story as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. What is your opinion of Renew Your Vows? God, Renew Your Vows is so good. Renew Your Vows is amazing. Okay, so question for the chat. Do you guys care if I spoil Renew Your Vows for you? Because I'll tell you guys how, you know, what I think about it right now. So, Rob, where do you listen to listen to music? Spotify. Sometimes I just get on YouTube, just listen to songs on random. I mean, I don't really care. it really just kind of I just really like I'll just type in like hip hop compilation and just listen to a whole bunch of compilations. So let's see. Uh, what's my opinion of Tim Drake? Tim Drake's okay, but again, I was never really into the Robins. I never really the Robins never really ran home for me too much. I was a fan of I guess uh, do it, go for it. No, no. What is it? Spoil away. Tell us. No, do it. Okay. So here's a really cool thing with Spider-Man: Renew Your Vows. So, God, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but basically, at the end of the story, at the end of the first issue, Peter Parker quit being Spider-Man. Like he's not Spider-Man anymore. Like it's literally like there's villains running around and stuff like that, and he's just focused on Mary Jane and his daughter, and he cares nothing about being Spider-Man. In fact, he ignores everything that's going on, that with villains and stuff like that. He's treating it as though he has no idea what's happening. That is a cool concept. Peter Parker walking away from Spider-Man. That is pretty awesome. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting I wasn't expecting Spider-Man, like Peter Parker, to walk away from being Spider-Man, and so I was kind of like, I thought they were going to take Renew Your Vows a different direction, where he was still going to be Spider-Man, but the whole, I guess One More Day was just going to kind of play itself out. That ain't happening. He's not Spider-Man anymore. Now, it's not to say that he'll never be Spider-Man, but as it stands right now, Peter Parker is not Spider-Man in the Secret Wars tie-ins. So. Now again, that's that separate universe. That's that universe, Peter Parker. That's not the main Peter Parker from Earth 616. He's still Spider-Man, very much Spider-Man. We know that because he came out of the raft and he's still Spider-Man. He's talking to people. So this is a very different sweep the leg. This is a different Peter Parker from a different reality. But it's still cool to see a reality where Peter Parker just gave up being Spider-Man. So I'm interested in seeing how that's going to play out. What's your opinions on Silk? My opinions on Silk were that she was just kind of like hashed in there. She was just kind of thrown in there. Not a big fan of Silk. I felt like they could have done something different. I felt like she wasn't really even necessary. Honestly, they introduced Silk in the whole original Sin event, which wasn't a necessary way to introduce her character, but they did that. And then they had her in Spider-Verse, and all she did was screw up. She just fumbled around and just stumbled around until, whatever, the whole thing ended. She's an unnecessary character. She's a fifth wheel, basically, is how it feels, reading her character. I know she has a solo story. I got the first issue, didn't like it, and never got any more issues of it. So again, it's not for me. It's not to say she's a terrible character. It's not to say that I think she's a dumb idea. It's just she's not for me. She's just not a character that I enjoy. So again, I don't mean to demean you all about Silk, and let me know what you guys think about Silk. Do you guys like Silk? Do you guys dislike Silk? It's because it's funny when you sit down and you look at all these varying characters, in Marvel Comics and DC Comics especially, characters that are new, that are introduced, that have never been seen before, and the different kind of reactions that people have. So let me know. I'm sorry. I got off on a little bit of a tangent, wondering what you guys were thinking, wondering what you guys think about Silk. But let me know how you guys feel about her, because I'm kind of curious. But anyway, significance of the 90s X-Men cartoon explained. It revitalized interest in the X-Men. The X-Men were popular at the time, but it introduced a new generation of kids that had never read X-Men to the X-Men themselves, and it introduced them to a lot of Marvel characters too. So again, that's how I got into Marvel Comics, was through X-Men the Animated Series. It was very important, and I think we'll do that. I think we'll do a video. The X-Men the Animated Series, like the importance of the 90s X-Men cartoon, I think is what we'll call it. So, am I married? No, not at all. Whatever happened to Nate Gray now in 616, he became like a pure form of energy, and then Marvel, I think, just kind of forgot about him. So, that's it for him. We'll probably never, ever hear about him again. So, let's see. What do I think of the rumors of a new Batman movie? Hold on a second. What do I think about the rumors of a new Batman movie and Ben Affleck acting and directing it? Well, I don't think Ben Affleck's directing this new Batman movie, but I don't mind I don't mind giving him a chance. Ben Affleck is a really good actor. He just has to be given really good lines and a really good role to play. Otherwise, he, like any other actor in Hollywood, is not going to play the character very well because the character is written like crap. That's the problem people have. People are like, oh my god, this actor sucks. Well, it's not really the actor so much as it is like the script that they were given. And so, let's see. Could any other anti-hero beat Frank Castle? I mean, Never the Submariner could just beat him to death because Never the Submariner is so strong. But yeah, there's plenty of anti-heroes out there for Marvel that could beat the Punisher. Now the real question is, can Batman beat the Punisher? And he did, actually. He did in the Batman Punisher crossover. Like that was a big deal when that came out. Tom Holland, what are my thoughts? Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Tom Holland playing Spider-Man. I went through and looked at the repertoire of the films that Tom Holland has been a part of, and I really didn't recognize any of them. He seems like he's basically a no-name guy. Now, I could be wrong here. It could be that he's a very well-known actor, but I don't really know anything about him. I didn't recognize anything that he's done. I think that's a good call for Marvel. I think it's good for Marvel to pick a character that's not established, because if they are, people are going to look at them like Ben Affleck, for example. You look at Ben Affleck and you say, well, Ben Affleck can't play Superman or can't play Batman, and people say, why? He's like, well, because he was in Daredevil and that movie sucked. Like, that's the stigma that you run into if you pick an established actor. I think that Tom Holland playing Spider-Man, it'll be interesting to see how it all gets played out. It'll be interesting to see how it all goes. Again, this is going to be a Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man, so I have no doubt it'll be good. The question is, how are they going to do it? In my personal opinion, I think their best bet is to basically give us the story of Spider-Man and the opening credits, the same way they did with The Incredible Hulk, instead of having a 45-minute section like opening to the movie where you have Spider-Man, basically getting his powers and so on and so forth. I think it's better if they're just the first 2 minutes, because everybody knows everybody knows he gets bitten by a radioactive spider. He, doesn't stop a criminal. Uncle Ben gets shot. He says, "Oh my God, I guess I have to be a hero now." Power, responsibility, so on and so forth. Everybody knows how all that stuff works. So, But okay, Daredevil did suck, but Ben Affleck's done more movies than Daredevil. Like Ben Affleck is not Daredevil. So just because one of his movies sucked doesn't mean that like every movie he does suck. And it doesn't mean that every movie he's going to do sucks. I mean, if you tell me, well, Ben Affleck sucked in Daredevil, I'll say yeah, but he was awesome in The Town. And if you say, well, he sucked in Geely, I'll say yeah, but he was awesome in Argo. I mean, it just goes back and forth. I mean, it just you can't base an actor's entire career off one movie. That's preposterous. So, what's your opinion about the comedian possible cameo in Batman versus Superman? Honestly, I don't think that's a good idea. If they end up introducing the comedian in there, fans are going to be like, this is dumb. They're going to say, this is just like a stupid version of the Joker. Fans are going to be confused because they're not going to know the difference between the comedian and the Joker. I didn't. When they gave us the comedian in the Flash TV show, I was like, well, who the hell is this? Like, this is like the Joker? And Benny had to explain it to me. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, no, he's a totally separate villain. Like, they're similar, but they're very, very different. And I was like, oh, okay, well, in that case, but... No, I don't think the comedian is a very good idea. It sounds like something that they would do. It sounds like something Warner Brothers would do, but that I think is a very bad idea for Warner Brothers to do. Dogma was amazing. Yes, Dogma was very, very good. I love Matt Damon's line when him and oh God, Ben Affleck are talking. And they're like, well, what are we going to do? And Matt Damon was like, well, we could kill people. That was kind of funny. So, Ben Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms. I remember Phantoms. It was, what was it, like some kind of monster that was like killing people? It also had Liev Schreiber, and he was really interesting in that movie. So, do I think the Defenders will be in the Infinity War movies? I hope so, but I don't think so. I think that we're too far out. Like, the Defenders are too far out from the Infinity War film, but I could be wrong. We may see them. I think it'd be the best time to do that if they were going to. I mean, if they're never going to do anything with the Defenders after Netflix, that's the best time to just throw them in there. I mean, Infinity War is going to be Marvel. I think that's going to be Marvel's like catch-all net. Marvel's going to say, okay, we got Infinity Wars coming up. Let's just take all the characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far and just put them all in this movie, you know. And it'll be huge and it'll be amazing because it's being split into two parts instead of like a rushed, you know, like a rushed single movie like Age of Ultron. That was a problem, I think, with Age of Ultron. Is Age of Ultron? It could have been. It would have been cool if it was two parts, but it had so many people in it and it had so much going on that a single movie just felt really rushed, you know, and really just kind of like smashed together. And so, you know, no, you could never make Dogma in 2015. It too much political correctness, and there'd be a lot of politics involved. It wouldn't be that good. But let's see. What's after Phase 3? No idea. I mean, no idea what'll be after Phase 3. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I was hoping it would be Civil War, but me and Benny and Drake and Kate were actually talking about that in Texas, and I think like Benny or Drake, one of them said that it was confirmed that Civil War, that movie's going to be standalone. It's not going to tie into anything else. And supposedly the story is going to be based around like Wakanda. Like half of the Avengers are going to want to invade Wakanda, the other half aren't. And that's going to be the basis behind Civil War. Let me tell you something. If that is the basis behind Civil War, that's going to be a weak ass movie. And fans are going to be like, this is dumb. They're going to be, I didn't ignore it. Like, I saw you, Supreme Leader. I saw what you said. But I was like, that's really going to be like, that's a weak plot. So I really hope that's not the plot. I hope that's just the rumor. But that'll be disappointing if it is, because no way. I mean, it'd be cool to have a cameo for the Black Panther at the end, but still, like, that would be weak. So, let's see. Secret Wars after Phase 3 in order to reboot the MCU. I can see them doing Secret Wars at some point along the line, but certainly not Phase 3. I mean, it's too early to reboot the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, it's in its infancy, to be honest. I mean, it's, you know, and even then, it's only like 3 years old if you want to count it by phases. It's not that long yet. I mean, I would say the best time to reboot the Marvel Cinematic Universe is when the contracts for all the major characters expire and none of them come back. Like if Chris Evans is like, I'm never coming back to do Captain America, and if Robert Downey Jr. is like, I'm never coming back to do Iron Man, and if Chris Hemsworth's like, I'm never coming back to do Thor, Tom Hiddleston and Loki, Josh Brolin and Thanos, the Scarlet Witch, the Vision, all those guys, if they're like, we're just not going to come back, then that's the time to reboot it all, you know, and say, here's a totally different set of events, you know. That would be a cool thing to do. But up until, you know, until then, you don't really need to reboot the MCU. There's really no reason to at this point. So, let's see. The stream was giving me a little bit of a thing. Okay, it was giving me a little bit of a hassle for a minute there. Let's see. Any opinions on the Civil War, the comic, which in my opinion sucks? No, I think Civil War is one of the most important. It's one of the most prolific stories Marvel's made in years. Whether it was the intention of Marvel to give us like this very deep philosophical, you know, argument of freedom versus security or not, you know, that was the crux of Civil War, and that's what it turned out to be. So I thought it was a really cool story. So, do I think the Vision will die in Infinity War? I think so, but he might live. So, John Bernthal as a Punisher, I think that's a good choice. We've talked about that before. I think John Bernthal as a Punisher is a solid choice. I can't think of very many people who would do a better job than him. I mean, he can be really intense. He can be really hardcore. You know, I think the moment that got him that role for the Punisher was in The Walking Dead, the episode before he was killed, when he started going crazy and he yanked open the at the end of season 1, he yanked open the fence or the barn door, and the little girl came out. Like that, I think was the scene that that got him that role of the Punisher, because he is intense, but he is a really good actor too. Like John Bernthal is solid. You know, after seeing him in The Walking Dead, I'll watch anything that has John Bernthal. Like he's one of the top guys on my list right now when it comes to TV. Now, when it comes to movies, you know, again, I'll kind of wait and see what they end up doing, if they end up bringing him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe in film form. But with him being featured as a Punisher in Daredevil's second season, I'm down with that. Like, I'm very excited for that. So, If you told me you were going to be in Avengers 3, would I believe you? I mean, sure, I guess. I mean, it's the internet. I mean, I can't take it for gospel truth. Okay. Hi, Rob. Question: what do you think of the original Future Imperfect event? The original Future Imperfect event, man, that pressed the limits when that first came out. Not really because of the fights. I mean, the story isn't really that complex. It's actually pretty basic. I mean, you have a world, you have a future where nuclear radiation had basically killed out like a majority of humanity, and the Incredible Hulk's the only superhero left. And then you've got oh, what was his name? Rick Jones, I think, who's helping to lead this kind of revolution against the Maestro. But you got the Incredible Hulk that's brought from the present to fight the Maestro. That's really it. But you had these really extreme insinuations or innuendos given to us by Marvel that like the Incredible Hulk, or I guess the Maestro was having sex with all these women. Like he basically had like women slaves. Where women were being like prostituted in this society, they were being forced into sexual subservience in this society. I mean, you had a lot of innuendos that were really kind of pressing the limits at the time, and it gave you a really hardcore view of what the dystopian future would look like. If the Incredible Hulk was the only hero left, but I guess really not a hero. Like the Maestro was a bad guy; he was an asshole. But no, it was a great story. Future Imperfect was a really fun story to read. So. You think Elizabeth Olsen's acting is a little bit wooden? I mean, it's tough to play a superhero, especially when you have no real context. Because here's the problem: you can look at superheroes in the comics, but everybody's interpretation is different. And for example, like you and I could argue over, is okay, which Tony Stark is better? Like Tony Stark in the comics or Tony Stark in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I chose Tony Stark in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the movies versus media, whatever it is, which we need to do some of those again. But for the media versus film or whatever that series was, I chose Tony Stark from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But there were some great stories in the comics with Tony Stark. I mean, the Mandarin stories, Demon in a Bottle was probably one of the greatest stories. Armor Wars, which we'll do Armor Wars. That was a great story. There were some really good stories for Tony Stark, and so it's really difficult when you don't have any real context aside. Because I mean, there's no way it'd be unreasonable for them to say, okay, Elizabeth Olsen, we want you to play the Scarlet Witch, so we need you to go back, and we need you to read like 50 years worth of comics. That's not going to happen. I guarantee what happened is you had somebody write the script, you had somebody at Marvel, some kind of advisor, which I think me, Benny, and Sal would be awesome advisors from Marvel. But you had somebody brought on in an advisory capacity, and they said, okay, here, check this out, read the story, or read the script, read this section of the Scarlet Witch, make sure she's being depicted right, and that's how Elizabeth Olsen plays a character. So don't blame her so much as so much as it is. It just depends on how the character is created. So. Quicksilver has a multi-picture deal. He ain't staying dead. Yeah, but we don't know if he'll come back in flashbacks. We don't know exactly how that'll work. So, which is stronger, vibranium or adamantium? I need to settle an argument since vibranium isn't entirely adamantium. I believe it's weaker. Oh yeah, adamantium is the strongest metal in the Marvel universe, aside from maybe Ur metal, which is what made Thor's hammer. But no, the only reason why they use vibranium, why vibranium is the hardest element in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is because they don't have Wolverine, and if they don't have Wolverine, they don't have adamantium. So that's why it's vibranium in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you're talking about the comics, it's adamantium. It's always adamantium. That's the strongest material. Okay. This is an off-topic question, but what do you think about Jumper the movie? That was a great movie. The book was better, but the movie was really, really good. I mean, the movie, well, it wasn't really, really good. It was good, I mean, it was Hayden Christensen, but no, it was decent enough. It wasn't the worst, but it certainly wasn't the best. But it was entertaining. I mean, I liked it. It was a fun movie to just kind of vegetate out to. But Question: what is your opinion of Batman Beyond? I love Batman Beyond, the cartoon show. I actually haven't read the comic. I haven't read the newest run of Batman Beyond. I never really got into Batman Beyond in the comics. Didn't really have a reason to get into him. But in the cartoon show, the whole Terry McGinnis thing, that was really cool. I liked the show of like an old Bruce Wayne and so on and so forth. Here's a question I meant to ask you guys though: is Terry McGinnis the son of Bruce Wayne? Like, is he like his biological child? That's my question. Like, somebody makes sense. Somebody explain that to me. So. Let's see. Who would you cast as the Riddler? And David Tennant would be pretty solid. I mean, yeah, he'd be really good to play the Riddler, or like Johnny Depp, if you could get Johnny Depp to sign on to a TV series. um, he'd be really solid. So, do I prefer Steve Rogers or Bucky? Bucky Barnes. I like Bucky Barnes. So, oh, he's a clone. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So Terry McGinnis is a clone of. Wow, Bruce Wayne. That's interesting. Okay. See, I knew you guys would answer for me. Could Sentry beat Superman? Maybe. Possibly. I'm not really sure, to be honest. We've never seen it. We've never seen the two of them fight. The Sentry's supposed to be a clone, or not really a clone. He's supposed to be a knockoff of Superman, but I don't know if that would legitimately happen. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, I'd love to watch it, but again, we don't really know at this point. So, let's see. Oops, I don't want to do that. I want to put that back there and put this here. What character do I want to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Adam Warlock, and we probably will. We will probably see Adam Warlock. This picture's crooked. We will probably see Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, because James Gunn tweeted out and said, yes, we will see the father of Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I thoroughly believe that is Adam Warlock. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Do you like Beta Ray Bill as a character? I mean, he's alright. Beta Ray Bill's okay. I mean, Beta Ray Bill is decent enough, but he's not a character that I've always thought was stellar. The reason why there's so much fanfare for Beta Ray Bill is because he was the first person to be able to pick up Thor's hammer, outside of Asgardians. So that's why people are like, okay, he's a classic now. Like, he's a classic character. Like, Thor fans will always have a soft spot for Beta Ray Bill. Like, they'll always have a soft spot for his character. I personally don't. I don't really think his character is that relevant anymore. I mean, I think that having him in Thor's is the perfect place for him. And that's why I think Marvel did a really good job by launching the Thor's series, by having like the Thor core. Because now you can take all these characters who were Thor's in other stories, and you have a place to put them. And I think that's what Marvel's doing here. I think that Marvel is basically compartmentalizing things, They're basically compartmentalizing all their different characters, all the different groups, stuff like that, and they're trying to find places for people who previously just didn't have a place. So I think that's a good idea for them to do that. So, let's see. Is that light okay shining on your book like that? Oh yeah, that'll be fine. It's not going to be a huge problem. So, it's not usually on that much anyway. So. How do I start my weekend comic reading? Well, honestly, I don't start my weekend comic reading until Wednesday, and I read up on everything in the first day. And it's kind of weird because basically, like, when it comes to comics, like, Wednesday is my Monday, so that's weird. It's kind of strange when you think about it. But what are my thoughts about Battleworld? I think Battleworld is an excellent story. It was written by Jonathan Hickman. The Secret Wars being created by Jonathan Hickman is a solid story, and it's really, really impressive. I like what they're doing so far. But again, it's difficult to know if they're going to be able to keep this up. That's the question I have. Is Jonathan Hickman is a stellar writer. The problem here is that you have, your really bad Marvel writers, you have your average Marvel writers, then you have your above average like Bendis and so on, and then you have your superior, like your just stellar writers like Jonathan Hickman. I guess Bendis is up there too. He writes really good stories, but you have your stellar Marvel comic book story writers, and Jonathan Hickman is at the top of my list when it comes to writing for Marvel Comics. When he leaves, I have no clue what they're going to do. Are they going to be able to keep it up? I mean, I don't know. You can't hire the world's greatest contractor to build a building for you and then not have contractors as good as the one you hired to maintain it and expect the building's going to stay in good shape. So, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that's not to discount any of the other writers. They're all great writers. They're better writers than I am, But with Hickman leaving, I don't know what they're going to do. But I will say this: whatever Hickman does, I will read. I don't care. He could go write Spawn, which would be awesome, and I would read Spawn. The problem is, if you're going to read Jonathan Hickman, you got to have patience because Hickman, he makes some long stories. So, anyway, so let's poke around here on Amazon because I'm trying to. Honestly, I'm not really sure what I want to give away. I thought about giving away, like, trying to find the Civil War, like the full Civil War collection, like all 100 something comics, and giving those away. But I don't know. Let's see if Comixology has them. Let's see. Because again, this isn't going to be too long of a stream. I need to get my place cleaned up. I need to get some pictures hung. I need to rearrange stuff, and I got all kinds of stuff to do. But let's see. Civil War Comixology. Civil War Marvel Universe. Oh, that's just one thing. That's the problem. It's so difficult to find, like all of these Civil War comics in one place. You can find them on eBay, but people want way too much for them. So, what's something good to give away? I'm not really sure. What we'll do? We'll give away a copy of Arkham Knight. That's what we'll do. Arkham Knight just came out, so we will give away a copy of Arkham Knight in video games. That makes perfect sense. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys want a copy of Arkham Knight for free? Like, you guys want me to give that away? Because that sounds cool. So, let me know what you guys think. Kind of watch this for a little bit. Or the Infinity Gauntlet Omnibus. That's a possibility too. We could do that. No, there's not an omnibus for Civil War anymore. There used to be. There used to be an omnibus on eBay for, I'm sorry, on whatchamacallit, but, oh wow, people are like, yeah, yes! Oh wow, people are like, yes, I want a copy of Arkham Knight! Wow, okay, wow, okay. You guys are really digging Arkham Knight, so I guess we'll give away a copy of Arkham Knight. Okay. All right. Here's what we'll do. We'll give away 2 copies of Arkham Knight. We'll give away one for the Xbox 360 or one for the Xbox One, and one for the PS4. So we'll give away 2 things. So there'll be 2 winners. All right. If you have a PS4, type PS4. Just type in the word. Just type PS4. That way I know who has a PS4 and who doesn't. Let's see. No, we're not doing the PC version because the PC version was pulled because it's got bugs, and I'm not gonna, give away. I'm not gonna do the whole buggy thing. I'm not gonna buy someone a game that's gonna have all kinds of problems, So, let's see. PS4. Oh God, so many people typing PS4. Okay. All right. Again, like when I buy this, like I'm only gonna ship it to the United States. I'm not gonna ship it outside of the States because the last time I did that, it cost me $100 to ship outside of the States. So I'm sorry if you live outside of the United States, but let's see. Okay. All right, we'll give a PS4. We'll give one for the PS4. We'll give one to Jake Lionheart. So Jake Lionheart will win the one for the PS4. So let's type this out. So Jake Lionheart, send me a message. Send me an email. With your address and all that kind of stuff, so I can send it to you. All right, if you have an Xbox One, just type in Xbox One. Or Xbone, whatever you want to do. But something to indicate you have an Xbox One. Let's see. Yeah, Arizona weather sucks. There we go. Okay. Wow. So many replies. Okay, we'll give the Xbox One version to Old Man Hogan. So Old Man Hogan, send me an email with your address, and I will ship it to you. But again, make sure you guys are in the States. If you guys are outside of the United States, then I'm gonna make a video, and I'm gonna say somebody just, you know, like I'll host the giveaway all over again. So yeah, so to Jake Lionheart and Old Man Hogan, you guys win! Congratulations! So you guys will get copies of Arkham Knight. I hope you guys enjoy them, and yeah, so I'm gonna do some like moving stuff around and reorganizing and all that kind of good stuff, and I gotta do some laundry and things like that. So, yeah, like thank you for 300,000 subscribers, guys. Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody who showed up at the giveaway again. You know, yet again, thank you for showing up. For the fan meetup. Don't forget, guys. Rob Explains, my secondary channel. Make sure you guys subscribe for stuff outside of comic books. I think I'm going to explain like PewDiePie. Like I think I'm going to do a video. I got the burst. I think I'm going to do a video explaining PewDiePie. And you know what? I think, we've got this is 300,000 subscribers. It wouldn't make sense to have 300,000 subscribers and then to give away 2 things. That wouldn't make any sense. I mean, you got to give away 3 things. There's 300,000 subscribers, 300,000 subs. We got to give away 3 things, So what do we, I'm thinking, what do we give away? What do we give away for a 3rd thing? What do we give away for a 3rd thing? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff we could give away. I tell you what, I'll let you guys decide. What do you guys think I should give away for the 3rd thing? Comic book related. It can be an omnibus, the Infinity Gauntlet omnibus, the whole Infinity Gauntlet collection. It could be a series of Batman stories. It could be any number of things, What do you guys think? You're not getting my posters. That ain't gonna happen. Nope. Let's see. Half-Life 3. Let me tell you something. If we had Half-Life 3, I wouldn't give it to you. I'd be like, I'm keeping it. Infinity. I mean, should I give away the Infinity Gauntlet omnibus? Spider-Verse, Iron Man, Secret Wars, Batman stories, Hush, Batman Endgame. I don't know. A comic signed by the Weekly Pool. The Final Fantasy VII remake. Winner's choice. That's a good call. That is a good idea. The winner gets to choose. The person who wins gets to choose. That's a good call. Ooh. Okay. All right, Tom Garland. I'll pick Tom Garland. Like, he gets to win. All right, so, hold on. Tom Garland. Tom Garland, are you in the United States? If you are, you have won. So, a comic book signed by me? Why would you want a comic book signed by me? I mean, that would be weird. A comic book signed by me? That'd be a weird giveaway. Okay, so we got two winners so far. We've got Jake Lionheart. We've got Old Man Hogan. They both get a copy of Arkham Knight. Tom Garland, send me an email, and we will work out what it is that I mean, whatever it is that you. I mean, I guess you get to choose what you want. So, so yeah, yeah, there we go. So thanks for coming out, guys. Thanks for being here. Again, you know, it's really cool to see everybody here and celebrating this with me and so on. I'm really excited. This is really fun. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and John Garland. Yes, that's what it is. No, Tom Garland. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, send me an email and let me know. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and bounce off here and do some rearranging and get some stuff, you know, put up, get some pictures put up, and so on and so forth. And yeah, so I will catch you guys later. Peace.